for real, I hope you're doing great. I was thinking, what's that time of the year? It's fall, but it also means another academic year is starting. Just realized that I finished school last year, but it means that I haven't been back to school in 2 years. And that kind of freaked me out a little bit. But I was thinking, how can I make this a bit more valuable? Like, how can I make the 6 years that I spent doing further education be valuable? And I was thinking, why not do a little video, like tips and tricks on how to survive university, how to survive exams, dissertation, how to get organized to have a fabulous, productive, successful year. Yeah, that's not going to be the title of the video, but that's kind of what I wanted to do. So I was not a brilliant student. I didn't get like straight A's or anything like this, but I feel like over the years I learned a studying system that was working for me and how to study for exams, how to write my dissertation, just like a few tips and tricks I learned along the way that I think could be useful for you guys as well. So I have my notes right here because yeah, I make lists. If you know me, I make a ton of lists. And I was thinking I don't want to forget anything important for this video, so let's get cracking. First one, I think, is super important for the start of the year mostly. Get into a mindset. It's hard sometimes when you've had months away from university, you've been doing other things like you're back at your parents or you've been working, you've been traveling. Sometimes you get there, but like your mind is still a little bit foggy and you're thinking, oh, it's gonna be hard for me to get back into it. I think something super important is getting into the school mindset. Just even writing down a few things like, okay, this is the start of a new year. This is what I want to accomplish that year. I'm back at school. Get into more of a mental routine of school, of going back to classes, going back to study groups and stuff like that. Just get into a mindset like, okay, summer is over. As much as it can be painful, we all know that. This is the start of something new. A new year, new opportunities to succeed. This is where I'm going. Just picture yourself going somewhere. Sometimes that works. Number 2 is organize yourself as early on as possible. I haven't done that the first few years. I don't know, like, at first you feel like, okay, this is just the start, so I don't have a lot of studying to do, I don't have a lot of organization to do. Well, actually you kind of do, and you can do that early on so that you don't get behind and you don't get stressed. I think the first thing to do is buy stationery. I love stationery, I love notebooks, I love pens, pencils and stuff like that. So I think if you have cute little stationery bits that you are going to want to use every day, it's going to be the first step to be organized as great as possible. Second is a studying schedule. That for me has always been how it works best. I would get a piece of paper out, write the name, like write Monday through Friday, Saturday and Sunday after, and then do a list of the classes I had each day and when I would book in, like when I would schedule workouts so that it's in my schedule. I can't not do it because it's actually really good for you to have some kind of exercise, even if it's just walking, like going on a walk. That's a workout, that's going outside, that's being physically active. So that's something you can actually put in your schedule. And then I see the few bits during the days that are free for me to study. So let's just say I had a class, a few classes on in the morning and then I had nothing in the afternoon. Okay, so I would decide I go to school and then I go have a workout during lunch and then I go home, I cook, and then maybe I rest for like an hour and I read a book or something, and then I get cracking. And so I would say like from 2 p.m., 2 or 3 p.m. until like dinner time, I would be studying. And then I would write what studying I would be doing. And that was super helpful for me. And it really helped me to have this visual timetable where I can see everything that I have during the week and see where and when I'm going to be studying. Let's just say you have 2 hours between classes. You can study at the library. You have a free afternoon. That's a slot you can allocate for a studying time or a preparation for a test or anything like that. Just like visualize, and then you can mentally prepare. Another thing could be to study early on. I feel like when you organize yourself from the start, it also means preparing yourself for tests and exams early on. I don't mean like fully get studying just like for the exam right before. I mean, as soon as classes start rereading your notes and making a little bit of research. If let's just say the teacher talks about a writer or a photographer or a science person, whatever you're studying, and you're like, oh, who's this person? Just like write it down, and when you have time, you start researching so that when you will have the exam, you will think about these things that you were not in a rush to learn. So they're more likely to be stuck in your brain for a little bit longer. Just do things a little bit more in advance. Number 3 is make lists. And if you know me, you know that I'm a list person. I make lists for everything. I have lists on my phone, in the notes app, always, for everything. It's a way to like brain dump everything somewhere and to not forget things. But I also like to have written lists. So I have notepads and stuff like that, and I make lists for everything. I like to do something a bit different maybe, is that I have a monthly list. That helps me to see deadlines, and so I can prepare early on. And so if I see what deadlines I have, then I can write it down on my weekly list. So that's everything that I want to achieve during the week. That helps me to make my daily lists. That might seem like a lot of lists, but actually it really helps me to get ahead, but also not stress out that much, because I know what I have to do during the month. I know what I have to do this week. So I can then see, depending on what I have each day, when I refer to my calendar, I can decide on what to do each day. The trick is not to plan too much for each day. I would say 3 to 5 bullet points is optimum, just because if you put too much on your to-do list and you don't do everything, you will feel bad about yourself. That's not the point. We want you to be productive and to be happy with how you work. So just put on like 3 to 5 things you want to achieve each day, depending on your calendar, depending on what you have each day, so that it's doable for you. And you can tick it off at the end of the day and feel like, okay, that's good to go. Now, what do I have to do for the rest of the week? And then you crack on each day like that. Now, number 4, for tests. So as I said, I think starting early is the best for you, because if you start studying like a week before the test, you will have so much to study and your brain is going to hate you. You won't remember everything correctly. You will have a hard time mentally digesting everything. So I think like starting early on is best. Like, for example, you know that 2nd of December you will have a test for this particular course. Okay, that's good. Then what you can do is start studying, I would say end of October, start of November, depending on how you can organize yourself. Start studying. Start having these studying sessions in your calendar weekly of studying this particular subject. That's what I usually did. I would decide if I wanted to study this with friends or alone. Depending on courses, I know that some I can study better on my own, and others I like to think, and I like to have friends to talk it through with. So depending on the subject, that's up to you, and then you put it in your calendar for to have like a weekly session of just this, so that it allows you to make a list of everything you want to revise for this course, everything you want to go through, researches you want to make, just to have a little bit more information, or researches you have to do for this particular test. And then you're organized, and then you know that you will study this each week, and it will relieve a little bit of this stress ahead of time. Also, something for tests, be consistent. Try not to do everything within 2 days. As I said, like, your brain is not going to be okay with that. You will have a hard time like learning stuff, and in the end you will probably sleep badly, and you need your sleep when you're studying, you need your sleep when you're a student, so don't do that. Just be consistent, make lists, see ahead of time what you have to do, deadlines and everything, and just have a mental clearness in your brain thanks to that, and everything will be fine. Number 5, dissertation. That's usually something we're super scared of, which is normal. That's something pretty big because it's a project on a long-term basis. It's not something like you have to do for the next week or the next month. Usually it's something you plan during the year, but actually it's okay. It's going to be fine. You just need to get organized. I think the first thing to do is personally to just think about the subject you want to do it on. Sometimes it's open, sometimes it's a bit more restricted, so do make sure that it fits what, like, the requirements, and just have a brain dump. Just have a brainstorming session of everything you're thinking about, ideas and researches you need to do, and just put it everywhere on a paper or online if you want to do it online, just to have like something to visualize every idea that you have, and then it will help you to define your subject a little bit more. Big lines, big ideas, and specific things you want to highlight. Just like it will help you to see things more clearly, and that will help you to make like a rough draft of every idea that you have. And then you can go and see like the professor or the tutor that you are referred to for this dissertation, and you can just say, okay, so I've been thinking about this and this and this, and you have a rough draft that you can show him or her, and they will approve or tweak a few things, but it will really help you to have a clearer mind when you have like the proposition of dissertation that you want to have. Once everything is approved by the professor or the tutor or whatever the word is for this person, for us it was a tutor, when they will approve your ideas and subject, then you will be able to make like a draft of a plan of, okay, number 1 I will talk about this, number 2 I will talk about this, number 3 I will highlight this. Okay, rough draft, that's good to go, and then you will be able to do the bits in between. So big one, number 1, 2, 3. Okay, what do I want to put in this part? Do I need to make further research? Do I need to read a little bit about this? And you have a better idea of what you need to do. And once you know what you need to do, and you have a clear idea of what it will look like and what the endpoint will be, it will be easier for you to start working on it, to start writing, to start making research, because you know what will be expected of you, and then everything will be going smoothly. Once you start writing, I know that for me it was easier to write a little bit, or as much as I could that day, wait a few days, and then read it again. That really helped me to have a clear mind and clear outlook on what I had written. Because I let a few days in between, I was able to have more ideas, to think, oh, I didn't mention this, so I can write it down the next time. But also when you read your own words, sometimes at some point they stop making sense. So if you wait a few days or a week, you just allow yourself not to work on your dissertation for a week. When you go back to it, your mind is clear. You will read it as if someone else, your old self, had read it and had written it, and so your outlook will be different, and you will see mistakes, and you will see, oh, that I could tweak a little bit to explain it better. And generally, it was really helpful for me. Also, don't hesitate to talk about it with friends. Not necessarily if you're out on like a walk or in a pub or anything like that, because you need your downtime. But if you're all working on something, like, oh yeah, by the way, I was thinking about this for my dissertation, what do you think? That's how I kind of view it, but do you think there's another way to approach this? Just like trust that your friends are there to help you as well, and sometimes can really bring another approach, another view on your work, and that's always positive. Also, throughout your dissertation process, don't hesitate to regularly see or email your tutor, just to say, okay, that's where I'm at, that's what I was thinking, do you think that works, do you think that not? They are really here to help you throughout the process, and they're more than happy to help you with everything. So really just email, just go there, and don't feel like, oh, maybe that's asking too much of them. You know what, that's what they're here for. So get the help you need. And lastly, when everything is written, when you feel like it's pretty much done, never skip the double, triple reading proof part. Read it several times, because we always make like grammatical mistakes or anything like that, or just forgetting a few stupid things, because when your head is into that, usually you don't see things the same way. What I used to do was send it to my mom and have her read everything, because she's a school teacher, so she's pretty used to grammatical mistakes and everything. And I could actually have her read everything, whether it was in French or in English. And actually my dissertation was in English because I was doing an international master. So that was really great to have her read it and tell me, okay, that's not clear, or there, I think there was a little bit of mistake. But you know, having the view from someone else is always helpful, as I said. And before sending it, usually you're a little bit stressed, if not completely stressed. So having someone else read it and tell you that something can be said differently, or this is great, or okay, there were a little bit of mistakes, but overall you will feel way better knowing that someone else read your work and have feedback. It's always helpful. Another trick that I've learned way too late was to have, as I said, physical activity. Whether that's just going on a walk, whether that's going to the gym, whether that's doing a home workout regularly, exercising can be really helpful for you. University is something that can be very stressful, that takes a lot of your time, a lot of energy physically and mentally. But having this time for yourself, for your body, for thinking about something else than school and work and studying and anything like that, can actually really be beneficial for you. So as I said, put it in your calendar, even if it's just going on a walk, even if it's just having a little bit of yoga session. Do a workout that works for you. Do a workout that will help you stop thinking, that will get you out of your head. That's usually something that will help you in the long term, help you focus better, help you sleep better, and therefore help you study better. It's just a whole big cycle, but it's really helpful. And sometimes you will feel oh no, I should not be doing a workout, I have so much studying to do. Okay, but then just do a shorter workout. Just do a power 15 minutes, just do a 30-minute workout if you can. Just do one in the morning and one in the afternoon, just 15 minutes. But try not to skip it too often because you actually really need it. You need your downtime. You need that. So take it and you will feel better. Hopefully this was helpful. I hope. If you have any questions, do pop them in, send me an email, DM me on Instagram or anything like that, and I will give you my views on how you can improve something, answer your question, anything like that. I will be more than happy to do that. I actually think that I have a blog post on university, so I will pop it down below. So I hope you're doing great and have an amazing day. Don't stress, don't overthink, everything is going to be fine. Yeah, it will, I promise. And have a nice day. Bye.